This is a model of the solar system in a scale of 1 to 1 billion, located in St Kilda in Melbourne, Australia. It was built to show and to help better comprehend the real proportions of all the planets that orbit the Sun and distances between them. This is my hometown of Gołańcz, located in western Poland. It's a nice looking town, however, we do not have a solar system model, and I can't really go to Australia just to see it for myself, but that's not an issue. I decided to make my own one right here in Gołańcz. The model built in Melbourne is simultaneously a cycling path that helps traveling across. Believe me, we do need a bike. Luckily for us, my town does have a cycling road. Built of an old railway system, parts of which can still be seen today, and even easier to see from above. It connected Gołańcz with the nearby city of Margonin. It's been finished recently and allows us to recreate the Australian model perfectly. The scale of 1 to 1 billion has specifically been chosen to convert the vast distances into the most reasonable ones. For example, Earth is located about 150 million kilometers from the Sun. When reduced to this scale, it becomes just 150 meters. The human mind was not designed to comprehend huge distances. A lot of people have no idea how small we really are, and how far away are the cosmic neighbors. I was also shocked while checking out the distances on this bike path, where to put the planets on the solar system model. Which, by the way, I got all the measurements from the official website. The link is in the description. Our starting point is the grain elevator, built in 1990. It is being used to store crops and coincidentally stand just next to the start of the bike path. It's big, it's yellow, just like our sun. It will really help us put into perspective how small we really are. Alright, so we are starting at the very beginning of the bike path. This is naturally where I'm going to put the sun. In this scale, it nearly covers the entire width of the path, being 139 centimeters wide, corresponding to 1.39 million kilometers in real life. It's pretty big, but as you're gonna see very soon, it will become a speck of dust. So let's head over to our first planet. But the funny thing is, we don't actually need our bikes just yet, since the first planet is located just 60 meters away from the Sun. Mercury is the first planet in the solar system. It's located 60 million kilometers away from the Sun, and at this scale, incredibly tiny, at just 5 millimeters wide. As you can see, we are very close to the Sun, but that's gonna change very soon. Now let's head over to Venus, which is almost twice as far away from the Sun as Mercury, at 108 meters. So we need to walk about 48 meters now. Venus is the second planet of the solar system. It has the highest surface temperature of all of them, at around 460 degrees Celsius. It's mainly due to its thick atmosphere, made out of carbon dioxide clouds. It's truly a hellish world. It rains sulfuric acid, and surface pressure is nearly 100 times greater than of the Earth. It would crush and fry you in a millisecond. And fun fact, a day on Venus takes longer than the year at 243 days. Moving on to our next stop, located 150 meters from the Sun, is our home. Only currently known one that can support life, the Earth. The little blue dot is everything we have. And I have also included the speed of light in this model, which is 1 kilometer per hour, which in the scale of the universe is actually very slow. And also our moon, which is 38 centimeters from the Earth. And this animation right here shows us the orbital motion of Earth and the moon. The last of the inner rocky planets is Mars, being called the Red Planet due to the amount of iron oxides on its surface, a cold, barren, deserty world we've sent numerous rovers to. It is perhaps the most similar to Earth when it comes to colonization, which may or may not happen in the future. Okay, so as you can see, the first 4 planets are nicely confined within a relatively small space. They are fairly close to each other, and the solar system so far looks relatively small. But now, this is where the surprising part starts, because the distances are gonna become much larger. But now, this is where we do need our bicycles, since our next stop, Jupiter, is nearly 2.5 times away from the Sun as Mars. So, let's go. Alright, so this is where Jupiter is located, in this little line of trees. They kind of make a tunnel. In this scale, it's 14 centimeters wide and 778 meters away. Jupiter is the largest and the most massive planet in the solar system. It's heavier than all the planets combined. It's perhaps the most known from its great red spot, a thunderstorm that's been raging for centuries. Alright, now moving on to Saturn, which is, again, twice as far away as the last planet. So, let's go! Okay, this is roughly where Saturn is. I believe this is like the first turn of the bike path. At this scale, Saturn is 12 centimeters wide and is located 1.4 kilometers away from the Sun. I don't think Saturn needs an introduction. It's well known for its stellar jewelry, the huge and amazing set of rings around it. It's time to move on to Uranus, which is, you guessed it, twice as far away as Saturn. So let's go! Okay, so here we are at Uranus, which is also at a turn, just like Saturn was. At this scale is 5 centimeters wide and nearly 3 kilometers away from the Sun.
Fun fact, the axis tilt of Uranus is almost 90 degrees, which makes it seem like it's rolling on its orbit. It's also classified as an ice giant. And also, it rains diamonds there.
Next stop will be Neptune, which is not twice as far away this time, but still quite far. So, let's go. Alright, we just came out of this little valley. This is where planet number 8 is located, Neptune. This is where the berries start.
At this scale, Neptune is around 5 centimeters wide and roughly 4.5 kilometers away from the Sun. Along with Uranus, it's classified as an ice giant, and they are very similar to each other. However, Neptune has the strongest winds in the solar system, at around 2,000 kilometers per hour.
But there's one more, very special to my heart, honorary planet in the solar system, Pluto. Although it's a dwarf planet, it was a planet back then, so let's go get to it. Alright, and last but not least, this is where Pluto is located, next to the wind turbine, and close to the last crossing, and its measurements.
Pluto is very tiny. At just 0.24 centimeters in diameter, 6 billion kilometers from the Sun, so in our model, almost 6 kilometers. It is the largest object of the Kuiper belt, and due to its irregular elliptical orbit, sometimes it's closer to the Sun than Neptune. It could be also classified as a binary system with its moon Charon, since it's just half smaller than Pluto. They orbit each other around a barycenter that's located outside of Pluto.
This is where the solar system terminates. There's lots of objects remaining beyond this point. The solar system still extends way beyond, but we would quickly run out of the bike path.
The other Kuiper belt objects include Haumea, Makemake, and Quaoar, with orbits similar to Pluto's. Next, with much more elliptical orbit, is Eris, at 14 kilometers. Much farther are the space probes Voyagers 1 and 2, at 25 and 20 kilometers respectively. both of which are now past the heliosphere, a bubble-like region made out of the solar wind. The dwarf planet Sedna has an orbit that goes up to 140 kilometers, but is still just half shorter than one of the longest known orbits, Leleakuhonua. At 314 kilometers, it most likely originates from the Oort cloud, a theorized remnant of the formation of the solar system, or the leftover part, so to speak, shaped like a dome that encloses the entire system and is the definitive border.